Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see you today. Captain Chris and myself came to a local bookstore, Barnes and Nobles, to read up on our dolphins, to learn more. We love to find new literature, things to read, because they all have new things that they can teach us. And this is one of the books we found here today, all about dolphins, with really up-close, beautiful pictures. Look at that guy. He's got a little fish in his mouth. And today, the topic we were going to talk about today were babies, because you guys are just starting to learn about the dolphins. So what a perfect way to start is with the babies. And right now, in Florida, in the waters here, September and October is when all the new babies are being born. And we have 8 new babies we found already. And one, if you might have heard, is named Crafton. So we named it just after you guys, so you could help us keep track of him as he gets older and gets stronger. Now when the babies are born, Mama's pregnant for a full year. So a whole year she's pregnant. Now when the baby's born, he usually comes out tail first, and he's only a couple of feet long. So really small. It looks like a stuffed animal pretty much. And he has little hairs around his mouth. And that's because he's a mammal. So that, like us, we have something in common with the dolphins. We're all mammals. And all mammals, at some point in their life, have hair. Even the baby dolphins have little hairs around their mouth. And when they get older, the hairs fall out. So now they're also going to nurse with the mamas. So all the moms will make milk for the babies, and that's how they're going to get real big and strong. And wait about 4 months or so about 4 months old, until they're going to slowly start catching fish. And they're going to start with little tiny minnows and work their way up the food chain to the larger fish after they practice a lot and watch Mama. Now, moms are going to be different, just like we see with our parents. Some moms are going to be really strict. Some moms are going to let the babies do a little more things. So we'll see that in the wild, in the waters that we go in when we're on the boat. As some dolphins will keep their babies right by their side, while other moms let their babies go further away. And that will usually determine how healthy the babies are. Now, mom has to be very responsible, and she needs to catch a lot of fish. Actually, 30 to 35 pounds of fish every day. So that's a lot of fish, and it's usually small fish. So all day long, she's searching for fish. And the baby has to watch the fish. So, say Crafton, for instance, his mom's name is Tattoo. So when Tattoos, they start their day, she's going to go around, and if she has to dive deep to get the fish, usually they'll have a babysitter. We usually call it an auntie. It's one of the other females will stay at the surface and keep a close eye on the babies, because they're usually get pretty mischievous. It means they're trying to sneak off and have fun and play with other animals like the manatees and jellyfish and things like that. Now we also have one family, a really exciting family in our waters, and about almost 6 years ago we found this one dolphin, and we named her Halfway, because on her dorsal fin, which is how we're going to tell who's who, she has one little notch halfway down her dorsal fin. So we picked the name Halfway, so we know every time we see this little notch on her fin, we know right away, hey, that's Halfway. Now her first baby she had with her, we named Seymour. Now 3 years went by, and then Halfway had a new baby. She'll wait at least 3 years, so the first baby's nice and big and strong. And then she'll have her second baby, and we named the second baby Simon. Well, when we came into the library today, we found this dolphin book, and I don't know if you guys can see, the author of the book is Seymour Simon. And it has 2 dolphins on the cover. So the first thing me and Captain Chris noticed right away is that this dolphin book has the same 2 calves of Halfway. So we thought it'd be a perfect time to tell you a little bit about Halfway and her family. Now we consider Halfway, we call her our super mom, because just in a little over 5 years, she's already had 3 babies. Now I mentioned Seymour, who's the old brother. He's big, he's off playing with the the big boys. Simon just left mom last year, so he's in the middle. He's the middle child. So he goes and plays, and then he'll come back and hang out with mom a little bit. But now, just last year, Halfway had our third baby, and we named her Kaya. And Kaya is just turning 1 year old. She just had her big birthday, and all the dolphins will get together, and all the babies will play, and they'll have birthday cake. No, not really. No birthday cake. Just fish and milk. So instead of milk and cake, they have milk and fish. So I don't know how well that tastes together for us, but the baby dolphins love it. And Kaya is one of our most famous dolphins now, because she is so healthy, because mom is such a good mom, Halfway is such a good mom, that Kaya loves to play. And what she does is she finds any kind of seed pod or leaf in the water, and she picks it up with her mouth, and she tosses it up in the air, and then she'll go and catch it and continue to do this all throughout the day, where all the people on the boats driving by can watch her having fun in the water. And for us, that's a great sign, because just like us, if we're happy and we're getting enough food, good food, and not a lot of love from our mom and dads, then we're going to be happy and we're going to play a lot. So the same thing for the dolphins. When we see them playing,
named after your daughter.
When we see them playing, we're going to know that mom's doing a great job. And she has a lot of responsibilities. For one, she has to catch a lot of fish. Number two, she has to be careful of the boats during the day when there's a lot of boats running around. She has to teach the little baby how to look out for the boats. And number three, their only natural predator in the waters are the sharks. And we all know about sharks. And when a dolphin gets really large, the sharks are usually smaller, so the dolphins are pretty safe. But for the baby dolphins, they're pretty vulnerable. So mom has to do a great job of keeping an eye on the sharks and teaching the babies how to look out for the sharks. Now, Seymour and Simon, it's funny how the same names that's on this book here were the first two names, and the third baby, the young baby, was named Kaya. And that is actually my daughter's name. My daughter is 1 year old as well, and it was one of her first, she's just a little baby, and one of our first times out on the boat, we found Halfway's new baby. It was just a little tiny thing, kind of it comes and flops up on the surface of the water, and we decided, the ladies on the boat decided to name her Kaya. So now I have to say, it's probably my favorite calf because of that. And we also have plenty of other calves in the water as well. Now when the babies come out, as I mentioned, they're really small and cute. And on their sides, as we see, on a dolphin's side, it'll be nice and smooth. Let's see if I can get a picture of the side. Nice and smooth down their side, so they can fly through the water very easily. But when the babies come out, the first couple of months or first few weeks or so, they're going to have these little lines going down their sides. And what this is these are little fat lines. So think about it, when we see little babies that have like little creases from all the fat. And that's when the dolphin was in the mama's belly, he's folded up into a little ball, just really, really tiny. And when he comes out, he stretches out, but he still has these little fat lines, they call fetal folds, down the sides of both sides of his flanks. And that's how we're going to tell if they're newborns or not. And as they get older, they're going to start drinking a lot of milk the first few months. And that milk is so good for them, that's how they build their blubber. And the blubber is what all dolphins and whales have. It's this big layer of really dense fat that covers their entire body, and that's going to keep them nice and warm. So that's how they can go into the really cold waters. So as soon as the baby starts eating all that, drinking all that milk, getting that blubber, those little lines in his side are gonna fade away. And when they come out, they actually are like us. Their teeth are not quite poking through, so they're just drinking milk, and then as soon as their teeth start popping out and getting a little longer, they're gonna start catching little minnows and practicing on the fish. And they'll start, just like as you guys do in the classroom, is you make friends. And we have, some of us have our best friends, and that's what the dolphins will do. And that's really fun when we're out on the water, because we get to see who's Kaya's best friend. And we'll see also who Halfway, her mom, likes to hang out with. And the moms will go off and talk and share recipes and how they're going to prepare their fish for the night. And the babies will leap in with not a care in the world and just have fun and play while the mamas look out for them. So very important, the babies. That's one of the most important things. When I'm out on the boat, I brought with me, this is my camera. So I get close-ups of the babies as we go out, and I have a big zoom lens. I turn this and this shoots out, and that zooms in. So even if those little babies, even though they're tiny, they're far away, I could zoom in and get a good shot, a good photo of them, and then print out the photos and figure out which dolphins they are. Now when the babies are really small, they all look the same. Pretty much, they look almost identical. So we're looking for the mom that they're with. That's how we're going to know. We're going to know it's Kaya because we see mom's fin with that one little notch halfway down. So we know right away that it's halfway. Now after we get our photos, we also have our computer here. This is an outdoor computer, so it's heavy duty, can withstand high temperatures and get salt and sand on it, and it still keeps working. And as we see the dolphins, we record all of our information in here. And every time we see a dolphin, every day, over years and years. And by doing this, we know exactly how the dolphins are doing, because they're very important to us in the waterways. They're like the lions of the jungle. So think of the lions, they're kind of the overseers. Like if you think of Lion King, the lion's like the king. So the dolphins are kind of the kings of the water because they're very intelligent and kind of controlling the fish because they eat a lot of fish. So if you're a little fish, you might not be quite in love with dolphins as you and me are. But they are very important to our waterways, and we pay special close attention to the babies because they're going to tell us exactly how all of the dolphins are doing in the population. So we're going and finding all these different books, and I'm actually in the story time section here and learning as much as we can about dolphins and all of the waterways and nature as much as we can. So because the more we know, the more power we have to help the animals and everything out in nature. Did I see a hand up? Maybe? Yes, sir. Well, usually they'll find a kind of a quiet place to sleep where there's not a lot of boats and they know it's pretty safe from sharks, but they'll sleep anytime during the day and night. And the way they do it is because they have to breathe air. Like us, we're mammals, we have to breathe air. And that's tricky for an animal that lives under the water. So what they do is when they're sleeping, they only close one eye. One eye always stays open when they sleep. And half of their brain always stays awake when they sleep. So they're never really in a deep sleep. And in that way, they can look out for sharks and also think about coming up for air, because they can only stay under for 7 minutes or so without breathing. So whenever they want to sleep longer than that, they'll keep their brain awake so they can remember to come up for air. They'll just bob on the surface. But very short periods, 10, 15-minute naps. So we always hear of taking cat naps. It really should be taking a dolphin nap because they do it all day long in very, very small increments whenever the fish are around. So they catch a little snack, play a little bit, take a nap, and do that over and over and over again. So a pretty fun life. It can be hard at times, but overall a very fun life. Now kids, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I think if there's no other questions, Captain Chris and I are going to continue our reading and our discovering and learn as much as we can, so next time we see you, we could teach and share more about the dolphins in the waters here in Florida. So have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you soon. Okay? You're welcome. Bye-bye.